Hey everybody, it's Christy, the CEO and founder of MEO Cat Cafe. In today's video, I want to talk about the 3 biggest things you'll need in order to prepare for bringing a kitten home. Whether that's a foster kitten or you just adopted a brand new kitten, this is your first kitten and you don't know where to start, this is the right video for you. So when you're bringing home a kitten for the first time, there's going to be 3 big things that you're going to need to focus on. Food, litter, and shelter. So with food, there's a couple different considerations that you want to think about before picking the right food for your pet. One of those is that it should not be a grain-free diet, so you want grains in your food. As you guys probably know, I work as a veterinary technician at an animal hospital. And at my hospital, the doctors always recommend that we try to stay off grain-free diets as much as possible. The reason for this is that there has been recent studies linking heart disease to grain-free diets. Most of these studies so far have been done on dogs, and there's still being research done into cats, but just as a precaution, the doctors at my animal hospital recommend that we stay away from grain-free diets if possible. There are certain brands that we do recommend. There's Hill Science Diet, Purina ProPlan, and Royal Canin. And the reason that the doctors at my hospital recommend these brands is because these guys have been around for a long time. These are like some of the top brands in the animal food industry. And because of this, they have enough resources to have a veterinary nutritionist on staff. And so before these foods even reach the market, you can be sure that they've done research over and over and over again to make sure that these diets are nutritionally balanced for your pet. So once you have your brand and you make sure that it's not grain-free, the amount that I feed a kitten usually is as much as they'll eat. The reason for this is because you want to make sure that you give the kittens enough nutrients that they grow to their full potential. So with this thought process in mind, what I usually do is I usually give the kittens 2 meals of wet food a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And then while I'm at work, I'll have a bowl of dry food out for the entirety of the day, just to make sure that if they get hungry, they have some food and they're not being nutritionally deprived. Okay, so that's all I had for food. Let's move on to the litter. Litter to me is probably the least important out of these 3 things, but the consequences, the behavioral consequences of your cat not liking your litter would probably be the most annoying to you, and so that's why I included it second. In order to avoid your kitten inappropriately urinating or defecating outside of the litter box, it's pretty important to find what kind of litter they like. Usually kittens will prefer an unscented litter because if the litter smell is too strong, it could be a deterrent for them. So I like to go with an unscented clumping clay litter. There's different kinds of litters on the market. There's clay, there's crystal, there's newspaper. You could just gotta play around with it and see what kind your cat likes. In addition to the actual litter itself, you have to worry about the litter pan, the litter box. Some cats like to hide when they're using the litter box, so in those cases you want to get a litter box with a top so that the cat feels safe when they're using the litter box because there's walls all around them. Other cats don't like the confinement. In those cases, you might need to have the litter box not just open, but in an open area. Usually what I do is I start with an open pan litter because that seems to be what they prefer more often. But if you find that your cat is avoiding it, or if they seem shy using the litter box around you or out in the open, you could definitely try either moving it to a more safe, secure, closed off area of the home, or just get a top for your litter box. The size of the litter box also matters a lot. Let me tell you the story of this one foster kitten that I had. She was such a little princess when it came to the litter box. She was probably about 1 pound at this point, so maybe like she could fit in the palm of my hand. And I would give her a medium-sized litter box, like a litter box that she could definitely go in and feel comfortable using. But she just kept pooping outside of the litter box no matter where I would put it. I thought she was a little bit more of a shy pooper, so I put it into the corner. No, still pooped outside of the litter box. I thought maybe she wanted easier access, and so I would put it kind of like more towards the middle of the room. Still pooped outside the litter box. It wasn't until I bought an extra large litter pan for this 1 pound kitten that she finally started using the litter box appropriately. The moral of the story here is that sometimes you're just gonna have to play around with the litter, the size of the box, and the location of the litter box to just figure out what they like, what would make them use the litter box appropriately. And the last thing I want to talk about is shelter. So what I mean by shelter is the environment that the kitten's going to be living in. When you first bring a kitten home, you don't want to introduce them to your whole house right away. Cats are not the biggest fan of change, and so when you put them into a new environment, one of the first things that they'll do is they'll try to hide. And if you just release your new kitten into your living room, most likely they're gonna end up underneath the couch or underneath of a dresser, somewhere that you can't reach, and it's just gonna be a big hassle to try to get them out. Before you bring home your kitten, I recommend you find a room in your house to designate as like the kitten room for at least the first 2 weeks. That kitten room could be something as small as like a bathroom or maybe like a walk-in closet. Just any room in the house where there's not too many hiding places and you feel secure that you're not gonna lose your kitten within the first couple days of bringing it home. With that being said, you still want to offer your kitten a designated hiding place. Something like a cat house or even a cardboard box with some towels in it. Anywhere that's kind of dark and cozy that they can retreat to if they are feeling scared, if they are feeling overwhelmed. And in doing this, you're not going to end up with a kitten stuck under your bed refusing to come out for the next 2 weeks because they already have like a designated "this is my safety place." When you bring your kitten home, that's probably the first place you should put them, is in the nice, secure hiding place that they can feel comfortable and safe in. Additionally, the other things you'll need for your new kitten room is a scratching post and toys. So cats, when they get bored, they'll start demonstrating behavior that most people are not the biggest fan of, like scratching up the curtains or scratching up the furniture. And ways to avoid that is to make sure that you offer your cat things that they are allowed to release these natural instincts on. Cats have a natural instinct to scratch, so if you don't provide your cat a scratching post, they're gonna find something else that they can release these natural instincts on. So that's why you need to have a scratching post or a scratching pad or even a cat tree or a combination of those 3 things. Something that will allow your cat to release its natural instinct to scratch without it being damaging or inconvenient to you. Lastly, you're gonna need cat toys, especially if these are kittens that you're bringing home. Kittens have a really high level of energy that you don't see in older cats. And if you don't find ways to stimulate them and let them release this energy, they're gonna again find some other ways to release their energy. Destructive behavior like that is very easily avoidable if you can just keep your cat entertained, especially while you're away. Specific kinds of toys that I recommend are wand toys and also independent toys. So wand toys are really great to help your kitten bond with you. When they see the wand toy, of course they're gonna go after it because they're kittens and they love to play, but they start associating you with something that they like, which is playing. Especially if you have a shy kitten that doesn't really want to come out of their safety spot, you could try to lure them out with the wand toy. And in doing that, not only will you bond with the kitten, but it'll help the kitten feel a little bit more comfortable in their new home. Lastly is the independent toy. And these can come in a variety of different shapes and sizes. Usually the ones that I tend to go for are the plastic circles with the ball inside, so that when the kitten pats the ball, it just rolls around the circle over and over and over. It doesn't matter which kind you choose, as long as there's a toy that will move or interact with them without you being there, they'll be able to more likely entertain themselves when you're away at work or at school. So yeah, those are the 3 biggest things that I recommend you look into when bringing home a kitten for the first time. Of course, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to leave comments down below. I'd be happy to answer your questions. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and subscribe to our newsletter if you want to learn more about what's going on at Meow Cat Cafe. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and we'll see you next time. Bye!